All About is going to be a series of Barbie GBF episodes focusing on one particular head sculpt per episode. I love learning about the history of the Barbie brand and how it has changed over the past half century. Now, Mattel has introduced many different head sculpts for the original 11.5-inch fashion doll, each with their own backstories to tell, whether they were made for Barbie, the Caucasian teenage model character, or for one of her many friends that had joined her and then had been abandoned and forgotten about over the decades. I chose to cover Diva for the first episode on this series because I have sort of a complicated relationship with its face. As I stated before, growing up, my collection of dolls largely consisted of platinum blonde superstar face Barbies that I received secondhand. But there were a couple outliers, those of which child Ethan wasn't really drawn to. One of those dolls being my redheaded Midge doll that used the 1985 Diva head sculpt. And I only remember thinking about how odd she looked to me, and how far apart her eyes were set almost reminded me of Sid from Ice Age. My perception of Midge as a child was that she was Barbie's ugly friend that she only hung out with to make herself look prettier in comparison.
Hey, bestie.
But as I've grown from a child collector into an adult, my tastes and what I prefer to collect have also grown with me. I have since learned to appreciate diversity, no matter how subtle it may be sometimes, and even fight for it in my own collection. Adult Ethan recognizes the beauty in everyone and understands that the word beautiful itself is subjective. So I in turn wanted to use this episode as sort of an apology to Diva or Midge for how poorly I treated her in my childhood. The Diva head sculpt, although copyrighted in 1985, first debuted in 1986 and was exclusively used for the Barbie and the Rockers character of the same name. Barbie and the Rockers was a line of dolls created by Mattel to directly compete with Hasbro's brand new Gem and the Holograms fashion doll line. In fact, Rockers is rightfully attributed as being one of, if not the main factor of the Gem doll's ultimate demise. I highly recommend you watch the Toys That Made Us episode focusing on Barbie, in which Mattel's former vice president Judy Shackelford laughs at the fact that they were able to not only steal the idea of having the very first Rockstar fashion doll line from Hasbro, but also that the public was tricked into thinking that Gem was a copy of Barbie. And while I don't personally collect the vintage Gem dolls, I actually think they're very ugly, especially compared to what Integrity Toys is currently creating with the license. I still would have liked to have seen where the doll line would have went without Barbie's interference. Mattel knows how to play dirty with their toys, with a business motto of, if you can't sue the competition, then copy them. That being said, Rockers, much like Gem, was a doll line where the story was focused around a mostly female rock band with the lead singer Barbie accompanied by her friends Dee Dee, Dana, Derek, and Diva. Diva was a redheaded rocker whose face sculpt was very distinctly her own, being much wider than that of the typical superstar face Barbie. Diva's overall facial structure is a lot rounder than Superstar's, with her eyes being set much farther apart with a small, closed mouth smile. After the Rockers line was discontinued, Diva would live on as she was adopted by Barbie's longtime friend Midge as she was reintroduced into the Barbie family, using this head sculpt on almost every Midge doll created after the 1980s. Apart from Midge, Diva was used on a lot of Barbie dolls of varying ethnicities from Native America to China. A couple notable uses of this head sculpt that I don't have with me today are Mattel's dolls of Trixie from the live-action Speed Racer film, Betty from the Flintstones, and in 2007 for Lily Truscott, or Lola, from Disney's Hannah Montana, exclusive to the UK, as Jakks Pacific held the Hannah Montana license in the US. Regardless, this head sculpt is most commonly associated with Barbie's friend Midge, with some collectors even referring to it by her name, and has been used on several iconic Midge dolls, including the highly controversial 2002 Happy Family Pregnant Midge, which was actually recalled from toy store shelves.
This isn't Walmart. Where am I?
Apart from Midge, there were a couple lesser-known Barbie friends that used this head sculpt, including Sensations Bopsy and Dance Club Kayla. Mattel has held the copyright for the name Kayla whenever it comes to fashion dolls for many decades, so there is now a plethora of Mattel-made dolls with the name Kayla. Nowadays, Diva has been, for the lack of a better term, retired, being absent for the entirety of the 2010s until she made a surprise reappearance in Carlisle Nuera's BMR 1959 line in 2020, sporting a much more contemporary facial screening that's in a lot of ways the exact opposite of the doll that she originally debuted on. Gone is the wacky 80s eyeshadow, she now sports minimal makeup and dark, bold eyebrows. I purchased the original 1986 Barbie and the Rockers Diva used off of Mercari specifically for this video. Now, this isn't really a doll that I wanted or will keep in my collection. I actually already have plans for her. I just wanted to show a before and after. You can see in the 1980s Diva rocks some very loud blue and purple eyeshadow, along with some barely visible orange eyebrows that match her hair. As for her hair, she has this very big 80s ginger perm, and you can see the back of her head is marked 1985. She also sports some blue eyeliner, which is a staple of 80s Barbies, and surprisingly, a nude lip. Or maybe it's just faded over time. So this is what the Diva face sculpt looked like during its inception in the 1980s. Now this is not the outfit that I received her in. The outfit that I received her in is beyond salvageable. But I think that this is her original jacket, and I love these 80s rockers t-shirts. And just in case you didn't know, these actually fit Ken, so that's awesome. I gave her this little coffee accessory in place of her ring because she's the oldest doll that I have with me today, and turns out the older you get, the more caffeine you need to properly function. Now there was actually a second wave of Barbie and the Rockers, and the Diva from that collection had her makeup toned down significantly, and I actually prefer that one a little bit more. Now let's fast forward a decade later to this 1992 Native American Barbie that I found at Southern Thrift the other day for only $2. You can see that she also uses the Diva head sculpt, so it was almost as if she was destined to be in this video. Now I hate to phrase it this way, but Native American fashion dolls were kind of a trend in the 1990s. Blame Pocahontas. And a lot of the Native American dolls that were released around this time didn't really abide by the values of the cultures that they were based on. For instance, I couldn't see Native American women wearing chunky silver earrings or a diamond wedding ring. Anyway, talking about her face, her makeup definitely isn't as clowny as the Rockers Diva was, but it's definitely there. At least Barbie ditched the blue eyeliner, but she still has this like turquoise eyeshadow caked around her eyes, but it works with the overall color story because I know turquoise is very important to Native American culture. She also has a bright red lip, some brown eyes, and some black eyebrows that match her beautiful black hair. And about her hair is ridiculously soft. I remember having some Pocahontas dolls made by Mattel as a kid, and their hair was like really ratty for some reason, but this doll's hair is nothing like that. It's much higher quality. It just sucks that it kind of wraps around these dangly earrings of hers. Yeah, the hair gets caught on these earrings really easily, and I actually had to retie these braids because the elastic deteriorated. The rubber bands were originally like a turquoise color, and that looked a lot better, but I only had whites. What do you think? Did I do a good job braiding her hair? Let me know. And I believe that this is her complete original outfit. This doll's in really good condition considering her age. Now, I'm not really sure what to call this other than a dress, but it's mostly a cream color with some turquoise and red embroidery and some turquoise beads and some fringe and some silver threading. I mean, they don't make them like this anymore. Now, there was one Barbie Basics doll in 2009 that used the Diva head sculpt, but after that, that was it. Even in the Target exclusive Barbie and the Rockers reboot that I think happened in like 2017 or something, used all modern face sculpts. So that means Mattel went 10 years without using the Diva face sculpt on any Barbie dolls. 10 years! Isn't that crazy? Collectors must have thought that they had seen the last of Diva until she made a surprise reappearance in 2020 in Carlisle Nuera's BMR 1959. I promise I'll finish this collection one day, but I'm as my mom would say, El Cheapo. Here's a look at Carlisle's sketch for BMR GNC 48. I plan on doing a BMR 1959 retrospective video at some point, so stay tuned. And here is what she looks like on the inside of her packaging. They chose a red background for her. And here is what the BMR Diva looks like straight out of her packaging. I'm gonna take this actually really cute red bucket hat off of her so we can get a good look at her face. Now, regardless of what you think about Carlisle's more questionable design choices, I think we can all agree that the dolls from this collection have some very beautiful faces. 2020 Diva has more of a no makeup look to her. The most striking and controversial aspect about this doll, other than this hideous outfit of hers, are these bold eyebrows. Now, if you haven't noticed, I have some pretty thick eyebrows, so this doll definitely speaks to me, but not everybody agrees with that, but thank God my opinion is the only one that matters. It's a real shame that this doll was the only one out of the entire second wave of BMR that didn't suffer from pixel face. It absolutely ruined that poor one with the Claudette head mold. Diva has these beautiful hazel eyes and this really cool looking red eyeshadow under her eyes and this nude lipstick. Is it just me, or did they overpaint her eyes to make them not look so far apart? Her hair has like a middle part and it's done up in these two low twist braids around the back. Honestly, it feels really soft, like a saran. I've seen people take these braids out and it makes her have these really nice waves. Now, as far as her outfit goes, oh lord. See, I don't even really want to talk about this because this is just dumbass avant-garde nonsense. She's got this oversized white mesh top, garbage. She's got these two colored plaid pants, garbage. She's got these ugly green boots, garbage. The only thing that I actually like about her outfit is this crop top that she has underneath. And you know, I actually think the bucket hat looks cute. At least this fabric. It's a little bit oversized, but I know that Carlisle did that intentionally so that it can also fit on the male doll from the collection. So here is what Diva looks like before and after 35 years later. Which one do you prefer? Leave a comment down below. It's this one. You prefer this one. This one's a better one. It's crazy how much makeup can evolve in 35 years. I'm not saying that everybody in the 80s was walking around looking like this, but people obviously thought that this looked pretty at the time. Now, as I am recording this, the BMAR 1959 dolls are still available on Amazon for only $20 US. It looks like Mattel had a lot more faith in this doll line, but even if you don't like their atrocious fashions, these are still really pretty dolls, and if nothing else, they can be used as made-to-move body donors. Recently, there leaked some images of the Barbie signature looks dolls that are planned to come out later this year, and I gotta say that I am very excited for this Barbie collection. In particular, I'm excited for the brand new skin tones for the curvy and petite made-to-move, and also these brand new skin tones for made-to-move Ken. I really hope the petite is the purple top skin tone because I need like 10 of her. But we still don't have an espresso made-to-move buddy. Maybe there'll be a wave 2, because I'm sure these dolls will sell well. Their faces look absolutely gorgeous. And we were definitely due for some good Barbie news after learning that wave 2 or Barbie Extra will no longer be made to move. In the comments down below, let me know of any Barbie head sculpts that you would like me to do an all about episode of. For this series, I would really like to get the very first doll that uses head sculpt along with the most recent one, but I know a couple head sculpts that middly that are kind of out of my reach. As always, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoy my content, and I'll see you all next video. Thank you so much. Bye.